They're from the first to the second order. Yeah, but shootout was out, that was just like, then it was she's better than, yeah. I don't know. I don't think Derek plays. I mean, she was a one. No. Any other place you probably go to GCU or NAU when you're looking here.
If you're down, you gotta try it. If you're up, put them in their own territory, work together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to play, it's a playoff. You don't want to play fun. You gotta play. You want to play nice. You want to play bowl. You want to play. No, I'm your one.
If I'm John, because nobody in the history of the world has done in the history of the world.
That's true. That's true. You're most likely you're going to be sixth and long, and they don't get the ball on the 5 or something like that.
And you know what?
Right.
Exactly.
And
they say, oh, we got a flight in 2.5 hours. It's your obligation.
your SID. Man. He's trying to get you to meet. Yeah.
Questions for Coach Barnes?
How would you describe the second quarter?
I'm trying to forget about it, but tough. When you have 6 points and 8 turnovers against the number 2 team in the country, you will not win. So the second quarter was definitely a backbreaker for us. I mean, because every other quarter, we were even or outscored them. So that second quarter really, really hurt us.
What does a weekend like this, how do you feel after a weekend like this? You went against 2 top 5 teams and narrowly lost both games. It's tough, but yet there's a lot of positives that come out of it.
I think one of the toughest things for me is we're not able to stay healthy as a team and compete against the best. Today, I mean, they played us zone the entire game. It is very hard for a team to play zone the entire game. With Helena, I don't think they can stay in zone the whole game. And credit to them, their zone bothered us. It forced us in the 8 turnovers in the second quarter. They're long. We were telegraphing passes. We were playing a lot of times outside, not able to get the ball in the paint and back out. So it bothered us. And we don't have consistent shooting. So if you look at statistics, I would play us zone 2 right now. Because 2 things, it stops, and that's on a make or a miss, which is hard to do. It stops area in transition. It congests the paint so area can't get easy layups. And it forces us to shoot the baskets that we're shooting at 30%, which is the 3-point shots. We're like 33%. So I think that gave them a chance. And we weren't able to get them out of it. So that's kind of the frustrating part. If we have Helena, she's a 40-plus 3-point shooter, it spreads them out and gives lanes for area. So that's hard, and we saw that against Oregon State and against Oregon. So it's probably something I would do. But we have to work on that. But I think that what the takeaway from this weekend for me is we're not quite there. We are close, but they're better teams. Oregon State is a better team, not because individually they're better, but because just collectively they're more poised down the stretch. They've been in those situations so many times, so they're poised and they have a last shot, the last second shot, or a shot with 10 seconds left, and they're able to finish those plays. And who do they go to? They go to pivot. She did last year. She did this year. And so that's where they're better because of all that experience. Oregon's better. They've been there before. They really spread you out because they have so many great shooters. And then Ruthie is a handful one-on-one. We don't have a true 5. We're not really big and athletic inside. So it puts a lot of pressure on us to go one-on-one in the paint. You saw we had a really tough time. We did a great job against her. We forced her. She's 70% from the field. We forced her to 9 for 15. So that's good. But then we can't get beat by almost 20 on the boards or 17, whatever it is, and win a game. If you would have told me we're going to lose by 17 on boards, I would have said we're going to lose by 30 points. So the areas we need to get better in is rebounding. That's the first thing. We will not be a top 5 team in the country or a top 10 team. Happened at UCLA, happened at Oregon, happened Oregon State. Better at rebounding, and then it'll take care of a lot of the other things. Then their efficiency goes down. Then their field goal percentage goes down. So that's going to be the first thing for us. And then we got to work on offense. We got to be able to hit shots. You have to. So we're just going to work on that and work on ours because our defense is good. I mean, there are times when we give stuff up, but we're a good defensive team. But we just got to get a little bit better offensively.
You've been saying that Erie would have a good shooting night some night, and 5 for 10 from 3 is pretty good.
It is good.
So, I mean, that's got to be encouraging.
Yeah, it is. I think sometimes she's settled a little bit, but Erie also takes, I don't remember one time in the game when Erie had a 1-2-step 3-point shot. She has dribble, step back. Those are very hard shots. Those are low percentage hard shots. If you look at other teams, because you have to put so much pressure inside, everybody gets wide open shots because the post is rolling, so you got to suck in. They get wide open. Erie doesn't get wide open shots because we don't really have someone that can create for Erie. So the 5 for 10 is really good because they're step back threes, they're end the shot clock. None of them are just set off of someone else creating. So I give her a lot of credit. I knew it was going to come. We talked about. I've been saying that she can be a 34% 3-point shooter. She's not a 28, 29% 3-point shooter. So she will do that. And to get to the next level, she's got to do that, and she knows that. So she was in here at 6:45 today. And we had to walk through at 7:45. She's in here at 6:45. So I'm just proud of her.
From the freshman year of Kate to her sophomore year against Ruthie both times, what's the biggest improvement?
It's just a bigger improvement, just experience first, playing a little bit stronger. But Ruthie's hard. Ruthie's the most efficient post in the country. I mean, she converts on 70% of her shots. So she's very hard. I think the back-breaking things is that she gets one shot, we don't box her out. She takes it on our back. It's not over the back, it's on the back, and it's the second one. So we held her on the first ones. And then she gets a second one. So that's why I know that the area we have to improve in is rebounding. We have to. We are going to work on it every day, every single day, because that's my job, to improve on what we need to do to win. And that's a thing that's going to not enable us to win against top teams. Now, it will beat teams we're supposed to beat, but we won't beat the top teams in the country with that.
Are you surprised that Kate only managed 3 rebounds, 2 defensive?
No, I'm not surprised because a lot of times she was guarding a perimeter player, and she was trying. And, you know, the other hard thing is, as a post player, so you deny on the high side. Let's say most of post defenses, unless you're a really big team, when you're Oregon State, you play behind because you're big. But us or other teams, you play a three-quarter defense. But that's a challenge, so we have to work on it because on three-quarter defense, on a shot, you're behind the offense. So, and we're not super strong. So we have to be able to deny because we can't let the ball go in, and then we have to be able to push them down. So that's an area we're not good at that yet. We will get better at it, but that's not a strength. And it shows in games like this because they just sit there and they get big rebounds. Also, we didn't get the 50-50 balls down the stretch. That hurt us. There was a couple times the rebounds went away, then they came up with it. We have to get those balls. We have to do those little things to win.
How many Ruthie Hubbard prospects come out of high school basketball every year?
I mean, I'd say 5. Maybe, and the funny thing is, Ruthie was very under-recruited. Ruthie wasn't recruited by the UConns, any of those top programs. No one knew she was going to be that good. She was like ranked 40th. I recruited her a little bit at Washington. I went to Alaska. That was my first time in Alaska. Went to Fairbanks to go see her. But she wasn't as good in high school. She didn't play on a big EYBL team, so a little bit under-recruited. I think the challenging thing for a program that's on the climb like us is when you're a really good, efficient post player, you're athletic, you're going to UConn, or you're going to Louisville, or you're going to Stanford if you're really smart. So then it's like for us, we have a 5-star post, but we had to battle with Oregon and all top schools and got her. But there's only a few that are really good. Post players usually develop late, and those few, everybody in America needs a 5. Everybody needs a 4 that can shoot it because our game is changing to 4 out, 1 in. So I compete constantly. Oregon State, Oregon, UCLA, constantly. Those are like the 3 schools. So we're getting there, and getting Lauren was huge. She's a 5-star recruit. She will help us tremendously. But big players that are good and efficient inside are very hard to find.
What went into the decision to foul Sabrina with 20 seconds left as opposed to trying to get the stop there?
Well, because we didn't have a whole lot of time, and we weren't able to get stops. So putting her at the line, and then we called timeout to advance the ball was a decision that I decided to make because I wasn't confident. Ari couldn't be on the ball because Ari had 4 fouls, and we were going to try to go for a steal, but I felt we had to. Because I wasn't confident we weren't going to get a stop or offensive rebound or give up a 3. So I'd rather her try to go to the free throw line.
And Samaje, what were kind of the difficulties for her today?
Samaje's young. Samaje is improving. The difficult thing in Samaje in the first half is the jumping. So she's in position, Ruthie faces up, and then she's jumping every time, and then Ruthie's getting up and unders. So I think that was a difficult thing for us. So she's young, she's got to learn to stay down, she's 6'6". If you stay down and make them shoot over a 6'6", we're more effective. And so I think that, and then she got pulled early because she got 3 fouls. So.
Amari's been strong defensively, but she's coming on in other parts of the game now. How are you feeling about how she's coming?
I think she had a really good weekend. I think she asserted herself against Oregon State. She makes I don't know how she makes some of those pull-up jumpers, but she just does. She's an athlete. But, we need her to be aggressive. We need to have multiple players in double digits. I felt like we needed maybe Sam or Kate or someone else to kind of, Samaje, someone else to give us some more scoring because there were times where we could not score. We could not penetrate against the 3-2. And it's just, we're not cutting hard. So those things we have to get better at. But it's a lot easier when you can spot up shooters. So we have Helena. Just think about how we have to guard. You have Helena on the perimeter. Everybody has to be a little bit closer. I think it's different when we, with Amari, they're not consistently going out and guarding her at the 3 because of stats. And with Ari, everybody's going under on balls. They're making her. They would rather Ari take a step back 3 behind a screen than turn the corner. So everybody's going under. So we have to be able to hit shots, but it can't only be Sam. and it can't only be Aries, so we need someone else to be able to hit shots. I thought Dominique did a great job. But we need Helena to come in off the bench and hit shots, and she's a great, her three-pointers are like a layup. So we needed her these last 2 games facing top teams in zone. So she'll be back by next week, thank goodness. But we really needed her today. But it happens. I just can't wait until we get a complete team. It's not an excuse. We could have lost anyways. But I just want a complete team, so we're healthy and we have numbers and more depth. Tara and Mara are young. We went to the bench and they got the ball taken, and it's okay. It's experience, but it was hard to keep them in the game because of that. So, we just got to continue to get them better and work. That's what we got to do.
I know that this was a tough weekend, and especially as competitors, these are hard losses. But when you look at this, maybe others thought you shouldn't even have been in these games. The fact that you played them straight up, you didn't give up, and a possession or 2 at the end, and you guys could have gotten the win on both nights. What does that mean for a program like yours?
It means a lot, but for me, I think they're games we really could have won. So I think it's just hard to put that in perspective. I think when I step back, I will, but without a couple mistakes here and there, we would beat Oregon State. I think that we kind of dug ourselves a hole because of that second quarter. So tough. It was tough to kind of come back in this game, and the boards were hard. But I think to know we're close and know we're maybe another player away or a couple decisions away, it's hard. It's hard because I feel that we have a better chance at home. So I know we're capable of beating a top team in the country, but we just need to do it. And I think we will. I think before the season's over, I think we will upset a top 10 team. But I wanted to at least get a split this weekend. I knew a sweep was very hard, but I really wanted a split at home because on the road it's really difficult, and we go back to Oregon on the road. So I think as we get better, I think we will get one. I think in the Pac-12 it's so competitive, so you really have to go on the road and at least get splits, and then you have to win all the games you're supposed to. And then I think we're sitting in a really good situation, but. I think we're just ready we need to get that one big upset. And I think we're close. I think that's the hard thing as a coach. We're putting in the work. They're doing everything I ask. It's just the little mistakes, like the quick shots, 3 possessions in a row. It's those little things that, then you don't get stops they go on 7-0 runs. It's those little things that we don't understand yet. But as we get more experience, we will. But we're not there just collectively as a team yet.
Can you please talk about, you guys lost 3 games against the top 10 teams, but the fan involvement, even though you lost 3 in a row, you're 0-3 in the last 3 games.
Thanks very much.
The fans are still, you probably could have more fans next game for the ASU game. Can you talk about that wave that's going for you?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. I love Tucson. I think Tucson is embracing our team, which has been really fun. That's why I really wanted this win too, because everybody came out and it's a great atmosphere. But I think it's just showing how much the program has changed. And I think we're a fun team to watch because we play hard, we play with heart, that's our identity. And we're getting there. We're not there yet, and I think everybody is supporting that. I don't think anybody's like, oh, they should have won, or maybe they are, but I think it just shows what we're doing here, and we're going to get better. We're going to continue to recruit great kids and great people and just kind of do what we're doing. But this was my expectation. I didn't ever think that I would come here and stay bad forever. I just didn't think that. Now, will we be the #1 team next year? Maybe not, but I expect that we'll be better. I expect that we'll be better than the 18th ranked team. That's my expectation. I think that's how I feel. I'm not here to lose. I'm not here to be 10th in the league, and I said that from the get-go. And I was confident when I took this job that we would do something. And so we're doing it, but we're still not there yet. And I think it takes 5 or 6 years to get there. But we are getting there. I mean, next year we'll be better. And things change. So with college basketball, you can add 5th years. You can lose people. I mean, if you look in the Pac-12, a lot of people can go pro. Sabrina will, Satu can, Pivot can, Destiny Slocum can. So it can change very fast. But you can also add players very fast. So my job is to over-recruit the kids I have It's to make us better every year and get us better and get us prepared and give us the best chance to beat the best teams.
Has Kelly Graves talked to you about the parallels from when he started to what you see?
Yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit before the game, and he talked about the environment. Everybody talks about that because we were a team that you circled on the schedule years ago and said, "Oh, okay, that's a win." All programs pretty much do that to a certain couple teams in the league, but now you can't do that. And now you got to come in and you got to face ASU if you're on ASU first, and they're physical. And you got to come here and we're pretty physical and a good defensive team. So I think that's good for the state. It's good for both of us to be good because you don't want someone to just focus on one team. I think in the past when you came to Arizona, you only focused on ASU. So now I think people know that we can beat anybody, and you have to play well against us. So I think it's all coming together the way it should. And we'll win more games at home. And I'm glad we don't play number 2 and number 3 again in the weekend. It's just hard when you come into a weekend and you're going to play number 2 on one day, number 3 on the next day. It's really hard because it's like you got to really prepare for everything for both teams. And then it's like your star player is going to play a lot of minutes. It's a big challenge, but we'll learn from it. And I think that for us, we don't plan on just making the tournament. We plan on winning in the tournament. That's what we expect, and I hope it happens. That's what we're working for. So all of these games, the close game against Oregon State, this close game with the flow against Oregon, this all helps us for the tournament because these are some of the best teams in the country. I mean, I'm sure Oregon and Oregon State will go to a Final Four, and we'll probably have 7 teams, 6 or 7, in the tournament. And we have potential in our league to have 5 in the Sweet 16. So all these games are getting us better and preparing us for the future. Now we just got to get a win from one of them. We got to get one win.
What's TT? I mean, she's obviously out for the season, but what kind of, I guess, went into the decision to just shut her down as opposed to trying to have her play through it?
Well, so remember I wasn't talking about it for a while, so we shut her down. So we were trying to rehab her and shut her down for like 6 weeks. In the shutdown period, we tried different things like injections. We sent her out to physical therapy, trying to see if that would help, and she didn't really progress at all, like a tiny bit, but I mean, she was having pain opening her shower curtain. So at that point, it's like she just physically couldn't move, and so we didn't have a choice. Like I think if she would have probably been at like 75%, we would have played her. I mean, she would have played us for last year, but she just couldn't function to play basketball. Like she had a big tear. So we didn't have a choice, but I gave her a lot of time because I didn't care. I figured if we got her back at the end of January, it wouldn't matter, but it just wasn't an option. But I have a role for her. I think she's going to be a great coach one day. Her mother's a coach. She is very smart. She's very honest. She knows the game. So I'm trying to put her in a role where she can learn, and she might possibly come and stay with us next year. So I think she has a role and she's very valuable even though she's not playing.
Is there any chance she would apply for a hardship to get a 6th year?
There's a chance, but honestly, we haven't talked about that because I think there's so many emotions right now that go with her not playing. Like, there's been a couple of times where I've said, hey, she has heart. I refer to her because we miss her in so many ways, just her grit and her competitiveness and her mentality. So it's still very emotional. Because there's times where I said, we've missed her, and then I'll make her cry. So it's hard, and I don't want to do that. So for me, I don't even want to talk about that. I want to let her get better. And then if she got to a point where she's better, then she'd probably consider it. But she's had so many surgeries. I think it's just you get to a point where it's just hard. You work so hard, and if you get hurt again, I think it's just a long process. So possibility, but I'm not sure if it's the best thing for the whole situation.
Any other questions?
Okay, thanks, you guys. Oh, thank you.